The IRS is sending out millions of letters this week on stimulus. Will you get one? I have all the details, what you need to know, and what you need to watch for right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, it was recently announced that the IRS is going to be sending out about 9 million letters this week to the low income to remind people you have thousands and thousands of dollars that still need to be claimed. I want to talk about that here in the video because if you don't claim that money, it will be lost and you won't be able to get it back. So let's get into it and talk about all the details as far as this announcement out of the IRS, the letters going out, and the millions and millions of people out there right now that are still owed thousands of dollars from the IRS and how to claim it. So let's get right into it. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video. As I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side every single day, doing all the necessary research and watching all of these announcements, the updates, the reports, and everything else coming out hitting the wire, breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay updated with what is actually going on and so you can grab as much money, benefits, programs, checks, stimulus, raises to benefits, or anything else going on out there right now. And of course, I want to keep you informed with everything going on so you can see how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course, everything else that's being announced. So again, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll be here for you every single day to help you out in any way that I can, as that's my dedication, that's my commitment, and as always, I'm sticking to it. All right, thanks again. Let's jump into it and talk about the millions of letters going out and the millions of people that are owed a lot of money, billions of dollars from the IRS. All right, now, so there's a couple different batches of people out there that are owed money from the IRS, most or all of which are low income. So therefore, if you're somebody who's low income or fixed income, you'll probably need this extra money right now. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that are owed this money probably don't even know about it. Therefore, I want to bring this to your attention just in case you happen to be somebody that receives a letter from the IRS in the next week or so, or if you're somebody who's still owed money by the IRS and you may not even know it and you might not receive a letter. All right, so let me talk you through a couple different groups of people out there right now. In fact, I was just out with a separate video talking about this maybe 4, 5, 6 days ago or so. I was out in a separate video talking about one of these pieces, but there's about another 9 million people on top of that that are still owed a lot of money. In fact, there's billions of dollars outstanding that still need to be paid to low-income Americans. So I want to help you out grab some of this money. So hopefully some of this applies to you, and hopefully you can grab some of this money. All right, so number one, there's about 10 million people in the United States right now, all of which are low income or no income or even fixed income beneficiaries who did not receive stimulus checks over the last couple of years here. The $1,200, the $600, and or the $1,400. All or any of them. If you did not claim those, you can still get it. And again, I want to tell you exactly how in just a minute. I will tell you what they have said as far as what you can do to claim that money if you're one of those people. Now, again, what they've actually mentioned in these reports, the vast majority of the people that have not received this money are those individuals who are low income, no income, or fixed income beneficiaries who typically do not file a tax return. Well, a lot of people, unfortunately, that fall into this group did not file a tax return because your income is low enough where you don't need to. And as a result of that, a lot of people feel like I didn't get it because I didn't file a tax return and I can't get it. That's not always true. A lot of times there's a lot of money out there still available and you can still get it, okay? So I want to tell you those details here in just a second as well. Now as well, on top of that, the IRS is going to be sending out about 9 million letters this week for those individuals from last year who did not get the $3,000 to $3,600 from the child tax credit payments. Now, let me briefly tell you the details about this. I know that a lot of you here in the community probably do not qualify for this, but again, I still want to throw it out there just really quickly, just in case some of you fall into this category. If you are somebody who has dependent kids, and again, they could be your kids who are 17 or younger, or maybe you're a grandparent and a primary caregiver who would otherwise claim them as dependents. I know for a fact there are some of you here in the community. The reason I know that is I communicate with some of you, and I've seen your comments down below saying, my kids have, grandkids or whatever. I'm the primary caregiver. I'm the one raising them, whatever the situation is. I know a lot of different situations, but again, I've seen it, and I know for a fact there are some of you here in the community. If you're the primary caregiver and you would be the one claiming them as a dependent, you could potentially be eligible for this money. So again, a lot of people feel like, well, I don't have kids. Well, maybe you don't have kids that are within the age range, but maybe you have grandkids that actually are, you're like the primary caregiver and they would be your dependent if you were to claim them. So if that's the case, you could potentially grab this money. Now, again, I cannot give you advice in this video because I don't know your situation. So again, I can't give you tax advice or things like that, but I can give you general information here. And I know for the fact, if there's some of you here in the community that probably are eligible for this and you may not even know this, okay? So you might be getting a letter from the IRS or maybe you don't. But here's the thing, the IRS is going to be sending out about 9 million letters this week to the low income and letting you know you're on our list and you have not received the $3,000 to $3,600 from the IRS as a result of the advanced child tax credit payments from last year. But then again, that is on top of the other 10 million people that have not claimed stimulus checks, okay? So we've got like 20 million people, or just shy of about 20 million people that fall into this category. Billions of dollars on the table here, okay? Very important stuff now. All right, so let's get into this and talk about how you can claim this money if you feel like you fall into this situation. So the IRS, and on their website, they have something called IRS Free File. It's something that they've had for a very long time now. Generally comes down to this. If your income is below about $72,000, now again, I'm not sure if that income threshold has been raised, but I know last year it was $72,000. If your income is below $72,000, and again, income is income. It could be income from fixing lawnmowers and snowblowers. It could be income from, walking the neighbor dog. It could be income from Social Security, SSDI, SSI. It could be income from an earned income from a 40-hour-a-week job. It does not matter. Income is income in the eyes of the IRS, okay? So if your income is below $72,000, regardless of where that money comes from, you could use the IRS Free File. So if you go onto the IRS website, you can look around on there and you can find something called Free File. Essentially what you can do is you can use some of the big tax preparation software and you can file a simple tax return on the IRS website, completely free to do so. Now here's another thing too. This is just for the federal return. This is not for your state return. So if you're in one of the states that has a state tax return and you need to file its tax return on the state level, it's not for that. It's just for the federal. However, let's think of it this way. Where do the stimulus checks come from? Federal. Where do the child tax credit payments come from? Federal. So it's probably most important to file from a federal standpoint, right? Just saying. What has your state done for you? I'm going to go ahead and say a big ol' nothing. Your state's probably done jack for you, okay? Just saying. The states are doing virtually nothing for the people. Well, is Congress really doing anything for the people either? Probably not really, okay? Let's just be real with ourselves for a second, right? Let's just be honest. They're not doing a whole lot. But this is all things that have happened over the last couple years here, and a lot of money on the table, and I want to point that out for you because there are some deadlines that are coming up that you need to claim this by, otherwise you might be out of luck here, okay? So if you're somebody that receives a letter from the IRS, now it could be one of these letters that they're sending out this week, 9 million letters going out the door. Now also, I have not found confirmed information on this, but I want to throw it out there as well because I did see some headlines on this, and like I said in my other videos, when I find information on one topic, I like to cross-reference. I like to cross-reference it with at least a few other sources to make sure the information I'm delivering to you in these videos is good, but I have seen this in at least one source, and again, I was not able to cross-reference this on other sources, but I still want to throw it out there anyway, just in case you happen to receive one of these letters. Apparently, the IRS is also sending out letters in regards to those individuals who have received stimulus checks and letting you know, like for tax purposes. You remember how you got that letter that said like, hey, you got a check from the IRS, and it was really confusing and it made it look like we were going to be getting another check. Do you remember those letters? After you received the stimulus check, there was a letter that showed up from the IRS and you opened it up and it made it sound like another check was coming, but really all it was basically a receipt for tax purposes to let you know that a check was already arrived and it landed in your bank account. Do you remember those? Well, apparently some of those are still going out. Now again, I did not find a lot of confirmation on this. I found it in one source. Usually I like to find 2 or 3 sources before I like to talk about it in greater detail than that. So again, if you happen to see something like that, just remember, that's just a receipt essentially letting you know that the IRS deposited a check into your bank account at some point pretty much a long time ago is what it comes down to, right? At this point, it's been a very long time since anybody's received a check from the IRS or from Congress at all in the form of a stimulus check. So just please keep that in mind. I know that when people receive that letter, it's going to be very confusing because it's written in such a way that makes it sound like you're going to be getting another deposit. As of right now, that's not the case, except for these millions of people who could be eligible for the advanced child tax credit payments from last year. Like I said, about 9 million households did not claim them from last year. Billions of dollars on the table, about $4 billion on the table just for those people alone. And then we've also got the stimulus checks, about 10 million people as well who have not claimed stimulus checks over the last couple of years. So I wanted to bring this to your attention because this has been in the headlines quite a bit lately. And with these letters going out to people, I know for a fact already, I know this is going to add a lot of confusion. I know that when people receive these letters from the IRS, it's going to be very confusing, thinking, am I getting another check? What's going on? I don't know what this means. Again, that's why I want to break this all down for you. I wish they would just write it in such a way that was easy to understand to let us know, like, here's exactly what you need to do. Step 1, go to the IRS website. Step 2, go to free file. Step 3, file a simple tax return. Step 4, sit back and wait for the cash to roll in. I mean, seriously, why can't it just be that simple, right? But obviously, a lot of times it's not that simple. A lot of times the letters are written very confusing, and a lot of times it seems like we're getting something when really, that's not the case for a lot of times. So, like those receipt letters I was just talking about. Anyway, there is still a lot of money on the table for a lot of people out there right now. And again, it could be yours if you fall into that category. So let me throw this out there one more time. If you're somebody who is low income, no income, fixed income beneficiary, and you did not receive any, or if you did not receive any of the checks or any of them, as in, let's just say you received 2 of the 3 or 1 of the 3 or, whatever combination, or 0 of the 3 checks that went out over the last couple of years, you can still claim them, okay? You might want to check into that a little bit further. Now, if you're somebody who is a low income, fixed income, or somebody who receives less than $75,000 of income per year as an individual, or $150,000 of income as a married couple, and you did not receive any child tax credit payments last year, please get on that. You can get thousands of dollars. $3,000 provided your kid is between the ages of 6 and 17, or $3,600 if they're below the age of 6. And if you have multiple kids, you could be looking at thousands and thousands of dollars. A lot of money on the table right now. And if you do not claim it, guess what happens to it? It's a good question. I don't really know. We don't really know what happens to it. Goes into somebody's pocket, not mine. I hope it goes into yours, but just letting you know. So we got to find that money, okay? Please claim what you have coming due. Otherwise, it's going to disappear into the ether, and who knows what happens to it at that point, right? It just kind of vanishes, and that's it. So hope this video helps you out. If you happen to be somebody that receives a letter from the IRS, just let you know, read through it very carefully, and do the necessary steps that you need to in order to claim whatever money you have coming due. And just remember, this is not a forever thing. Once the deadline passes, that's it. Game over. You can't get it anymore, okay? So you don't have much time here, so please claim what you have coming due if this falls into your category. Otherwise, again, I'll continue watching everything closely, and as I do get more details on anything out there, of course, I'll bring it to your attention right away in these short videos. So again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, have a good one, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later in the next video. I'll see you.